Hello, I'm Jung Do-hwan, 84 years old, who worked in orthopedics for over 40 years. Many people are surprised. After hearing my age, they say, "Doctor, you're already 84?" I'm retired now, but my body still moves like it did when I met patients every day. I wake up at 6 a.m., walk around the neighborhood for 30 minutes, and in the afternoon, I grow peppers and lettuce in my garden. When my grandchildren come to visit, I push them on swings at the playground and play soccer with them. Yesterday, an elderly lady in the neighborhood asked me, "Doctor, how are you so energetic at that age? I'm 70, but my knees hurt so much I'm scared to climb stairs." Another person said, "My back hurts so much I can't even hold my grandchild." When you think of a 93-year-old elderly person, what image comes to mind? Most people probably think of someone bent over with a walking stick. But would you believe it if they were still practicing medicine and working in the fields? The secret is one patch I put on my foot sole every night. Yes, not on the knees, back, or shoulders, but on the sole of my foot. You might find it absurd at first, but this is exactly the secret method created from 40 years of clinical experience. Let me tell you the story of 76-year-old grandmother Kim Hee-ja. She couldn't even attend her granddaughter's graduation ceremony because of knee pain. I remember when she first came to see me, she was led into the examination room by her daughter-in-law, and her face was pale. "Doctor, I guess I'll just have to live like this until I die." She always said that. Not only could she not climb stairs, but going to the bathroom was difficult too. Every time she got up from a chair, she would naturally make an "oh my" sound. At night, she couldn't sleep because of the pain and would wake up precisely at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m., tossing and turning. Her husband also couldn't sleep well because of this, so both of them had dark circles under their eyes. It was a life sustained by painkillers. Even taking them 3 times a day, the effect was gradually diminishing. She would sit in a chair all day looking out the window, sighing and saying, "Why do I have to live like this?" The family was gradually giving up hope too. They were resigned, saying, "Grandmother is at that age, so there's nothing we can do." But what broke my heart the most was when she said she couldn't go to her granddaughter's graduation ceremony. "It's my eldest granddaughter's university graduation that I've been waiting for my whole life. But how can I go with these legs? I'll have to see it through photos." That's when tears started streaming down grandmother's face. But a single patch made grandmother Kim Hee-ja walk through life again. Have you ever experienced such moments? Moments when you had to give up things you wanted to do because your body wouldn't listen? Moments when your heart felt heavy because you felt like a burden to your family? I always thought back, knee, and shoulder pain started from the center of the body. So when knees hurt, I focused treatment on the knees. When the back hurt, I focused on the back. I had been doing that for 40 years. But that day my mentor said, "Do-hwan, even if the knee hurts, look at the sole of the foot. Just like when a tree withers, you have to look at the roots first." At first I wondered what he meant. I had been working in orthopedics for over 40 years. And the sole of the foot? It wasn't taught in medical school and wasn't in textbooks either. But my mentor was confident. "You forgot that the sole of the foot is the second heart." Traditional Oriental medicine already knew this long ago. Then my mentor told me a story. During the Korean War, while treating wounded soldiers, they ran out of medicine. But an elderly woman appeared and said, "Try putting medicinal herbs on the soles of their feet." They tried it half doubtfully, and amazingly, the pain decreased. The first patch I recommended to grandmother Kim Hee-ja was placed not on her knee, but on the sole of her foot, exactly in the center of her heel. "Grandmother, this might sound strange, but please try it once." At first, grandmother was puzzled too. "Doctor, my knee hurts, so why are you putting it on my foot?" But 3 days later, she called. "Doctor, I slept a little at night. I didn't wake up at dawn for the first time in a while. A week later, I can climb stairs one step at a time. And 2 weeks later, I went to the mart with a cart. And 3 weeks later, something amazing happened." Grandmother Kim came back from the mart without her walking stick. "Doctor, is this a dream? Is this really a dream?" she asked with tears welling up in her eyes. Her daughter-in-law also called and said, "Mother has become a completely different person." This story needs to be heard to the end to understand the whole flow. I'll tell you everything. Why the sole of the foot, how to apply it, when to apply it for the best effect. This is content you can practice starting tonight. Please watch to the end of the video, and if it helps, please subscribe and like. The sole of the foot is the second heart. Why is the sole of the foot the second heart? Blood that starts from the heart circulates throughout the body, and the sole of the foot is the last gateway for returning to the heart. The sole muscles act as a pump that pushes blood that has come down due to gravity back up. But as we age, this pump function weakens. The sole muscles become stiff and blood circulation deteriorates. Then the legs swell, knees hurt, and even the back is affected. When one thing collapses, a chain reaction occurs like dominoes. Let me tell you about the case of 82-year-old Mr. Park Young-ho. He was in a wheelchair because diabetic complications left him with almost no sensation in his toes. He had almost no ankle strength, and his calves were always swollen. Even though his family massaged his legs every day, it was useless. The hospital said, "You've improved a lot considering your condition." But the elderly man said he couldn't give up. "I want to walk just once more, even if it's just to the persimmon tree in the yard." So I suggested putting a patch on the center of his heel. Amazingly, within a week, sensation gradually started returning to his toes. 2 weeks later, he could move his ankle. Within a month, he could walk holding a walker. Now he walks around the neighborhood with just a walking stick. Let me tell you the detailed practice method. The center part of the heel, not toward the toes, but the thickest part of the heel. When you press with your finger, it's the place that feels the firmest yet slightly soft. Apply a patch the size of a 501 coin there. After applying, gently massage with your palm for about 5 minutes. Don't press too hard, just massage gently in circles. This helps the patch ingredients penetrate deeper. However, there are a few things to be careful about. First, never apply it when exercising. The patch ingredients can cause burns when they meet with heat generated during exercise. Second, avoid areas with wounds or athlete's foot. Inflammation can worsen. Third, only use it when resting. Especially before going to sleep is best. How much attention do you usually pay to your sole health? When washing your feet, do you carefully check your soles too? Yongchen acupoint is the connecting link between the back and knees. Do you know the acupoint called Yongchen? It's written with the Chinese characters for spring yang and heaven tian. It means a place where energy springs up like spring water. It's in the concave area at the front third of the sole, and this is the starting point of the kidney meridian. In Oriental medicine, they say the kidneys govern bones. This is why when kidneys weaken, the back and knees hurt. Especially for elderly people, most back pain is related to decreased kidney function. So when you stimulate Yongchen, kidney function is activated and back and knee pain decreases. 71-year-old grandmother Yoon Young-ja couldn't sleep every night because of back pain. She would wake up precisely at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m., tossing and turning. She said, "It feels like my back is going to break," and applied patches to her back every day, but there was no effect. The X-ray taken at the hospital showed spinal stenosis. Surgery was recommended, but she was hesitant due to her age. That's when I suggested putting a patch on Yongchen. "Grandmother, this might sound strange, but please try putting it on your sole." There was no change for the first 3 days. But on the 4th day, she called. "Doctor, I slept for 5 hours straight last night. It's the first time in 3 years." A week later, she marveled, saying, "I didn't know my back could be this comfortable." A month later, she started sleeping well at night and became energetic during the day too. Let me tell you exactly how to find Yongchen. First, curl all your toes. Then you'll see a depression in your sole. It's the point that comes down toward the sole from between the big toe and second toe. When you press with your finger, it feels softer than other places. Apply a patch about the size of a coin there. You don't need to make it too big. Since acupoints are just dots, it's important to apply the right size in the exact location. After applying, press gently with your thumb for 3 seconds. Repeat about 5 times. People with sensitive skin need to be especially careful. The Yongqian area has thinner skin than other places. Try applying it for only 30 minutes at first, and if there are no problems, extend the time. Some people get itching or rashes. In such cases, remove it immediately and wash cleanly with cold water. People with diabetes need to be careful too. Foot sensation may be dull, so you might not feel stimulation. It's better to have a family member check. Under the toes is a mirror of shoulders and neck. Very few people know this. The area under the big toe is connected to the lung meridian and has amazing effects on shoulder and neck pain. It's really helpful, especially for people suffering from frozen shoulder or neck disc problems. Why is the toe connected to the shoulder? Our body is one organism. Everything from toes to the top of the head is connected. Especially the big toe is the endpoint of the lung meridian. The lungs govern shoulder and arm movement. That's why stimulating the big toe relieves shoulder pain. 63-year-old Mrs. Kang Soonja really suffered from frozen shoulder. Getting dressed was difficult, so her husband had to help. And combing her hair was impossible because her arm wouldn't go up. So her daughter-in-law had to do it. "I don't know why this arm won't listen to me," she said with tears. The hospital recommended steroid injections, but she was hesitant about side effects. That's when I suggested big toe massage and patches. Ma'am, since your right shoulder hurts, try putting it under your left big toe. Amazingly, changes appeared within a week. Doctor, my arm is gradually going up. I can't reach behind my head yet, but I can touch my side. 2 weeks later, she could dress herself, and a month later, she could comb her hair. This is called cross-reaction. If the right side hurts, apply to the left foot. If the left side hurts, apply to the right foot. Why is that? Our brain is crossed left and right. The right brain manages the left body, and the left brain manages the right body. So, stimulating the opposite side is more effective. Apply it to the fleshy part right under the big toe, not too close to the tip of the toe, but at the boundary between the toe and sole. When you touch it with your hand, it feels thicker than under other toes. That's the spot. A small size is sufficient. About the size of a 101 coin is enough. After applying, gently massage with your fingers. Don't press too hard, just massage gently like a massage. However, there's a precaution. Use it only once a day. And don't apply it for more than 30 minutes. Applying it too long can actually interfere with blood circulation. Appropriate stimulation is important. As the saying goes, too much of anything can be harmful. Are there any of you suffering from shoulders or neck problems? People who have difficulty raising their arms? The timing of application determines the treatment effect. When you apply the patch is really more important than you think. Even with the same patch, the effect is like night and day, depending on when you apply it. Our body produces the most recovery hormones at night. Especially between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. is golden time. During this time, recovery hormones like growth hormone and melatonin are actively secreted. Muscles regenerate and inflammation subsides. So when you apply patches during this time, the medicine ingredients create synergy effects with recovery hormones. Let me tell you about the case of 75-year-old Mr. Lee Young-soo. When he first applied patches during the day, he didn't feel much effect. Doctor, the patch doesn't seem very effective. It's just the same whether I apply it or not. So I suggested changing the timing. After making a habit of applying it before 10 p.m. at night, it definitely changed. Doctor, it's amazing. It's the same patch, but when I apply it at night, my body's completely different when I wake up in the morning. Light and refreshed. 3 months later, he even started going on dawn walks. Let me tell you the specific timing. It's best to apply it 30 minutes before going to sleep. If you sleep at 9:30, apply at 9 o'clock. If you sleep at 10 o'clock, apply at 9:30. Why 30 minutes before? Because it takes time for the patch ingredients to be absorbed through the skin. If you apply it too early, there's too much time until bedtime, and the patch might fall off. Conversely, if you apply it too late, it might interfere with falling asleep. Exactly 30 minutes before is just right. If you get this timing right, the medicine effect reaches its peak around bedtime. If you apply it during the day, the effect drops significantly. First, there's a high possibility the patch will fall off while being active. And most importantly, the amount of recovery hormone secretion is much less than at night. Also, during the day, the sympathetic nervous system is activated, so the body is in a tense state. At night, the parasympathetic nervous system is activated, and the body relaxes. So use it only at night as much as possible. Especially if you apply it on Friday night, you can rest sufficiently over the weekend and recover better. What time do you usually go to sleep? Do you have a regular sleep pattern? The effect increases by 40% when you apply patches after foot soaking. Finally, let me tell you the most important secret. When you apply patches after foot soaking, the effect increases amazingly. From my direct observation, the effect increased by about 40%. Why is that? Warm water raises skin temperature and dilates blood vessels, so patch ingredients are absorbed more deeply and faster. It's the same principle as applying nutritional cream when pores are wide open. Mr. Kim Dong-chun was someone who enjoyed golf his whole life, but he couldn't hold a golf club for 3 years because of knee pain. Doctor, I cry when I go to the golf course. All the friends I used to play with are still playing, but I'm the only one who has to sit on the bench. I suggested combining foot soaking with patches. At first he said, would that kind of thing be effective? But 3 weeks later, he went back to the golf course. Doctor, I played all 18 holes. My knees didn't hurt and my stamina was fine too. It's really a miracle. Let me tell you the detailed foot soaking method. First, water temperature is important. About 38 degrees is appropriate. If it's too hot, there's burn risk. If it's too lukewarm, the effect decreases. Check the water temperature with your wrist, and if it feels warm, that's appropriate. Fill water deep enough to submerge up to your ankles. Not just soaking the soles, but warming the entire area up to the ankles. This improves overall blood circulation. About 10 minutes is appropriate for time. Longer than that can actually cause fatigue. It's even better if you move your toes while foot soaking. Bend and extend your toes to stimulate the sole muscles. Rotate your ankles too. This makes blood circulation even more active. After foot soaking, you must completely dry your soles. This is really important. If there's moisture, the patch won't stick properly. Wipe thoroughly with a towel and wait 2-3 minutes before applying. Dry between the toes well too. Especially people with athlete's foot need to be more careful. If moisture remains after foot soaking, athlete's foot can worsen. Dry completely and ensure good ventilation. So far, I've told you 5 secrets for solving pain with sole patches. These are really precious contents that came from 40 years of clinical experience. Let me organize them step by step once more. First, remember that the sole of the foot is the second heart. When you apply a patch to the center of the heel, blood circulation improves and knee and back pain decreases. There are cases like Mr. Park Young-ho, who went from wheelchair to walking again. However, never apply it when exercising, only use it when resting. Be careful of burn risk. Second, it's also important that Yongcheon is the key to back and knee pain. The concave spot at the front third of the sole, that's exactly the starting point of the kidney meridian. There are cases like grandmother Yoon Young-ja, who couldn't sleep for 3 years but could sleep soundly. People with sensitive skin should test for 30 minutes first, and if there are no problems, extend the time. Third, under the big toe is really effective for shoulder and neck pain. Use the cross reaction by applying to the opposite foot from the painful side. Like Mrs. Kang Soonja, who couldn't even dress herself due to frozen shoulder, but could raise her arm again. Use only once a day within 30 minutes and don't apply too long. Fourth, timing is really important. It's best to apply 30 minutes before going to sleep. Between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. is golden time when recovery hormones are most abundant. Like Mr. Lee Young-soo, even with the same patch, just changing the timing can make the effect completely different. If you apply during the day, the effect decreases, so only use it at night. Fifth, applying patches after foot soaking increases the effect by 40%. Soak in 38-degree warm water for 10 minutes. Completely dry your feet, then apply. Like Mr. Kim Dong-chun, you might be able to play golf again after 3 years. When foot soaking, it's better to move your toes and ankles too. Grandmother Kim Hee-ja now says this: "Thanks to the doctor, I went to my granddaughter's graduation, and now I go shopping with my granddaughter too. Every day is grateful and happy. Even walking hand in hand with my granddaughter feels like a miracle." You should try applying one patch starting tonight too. Don't give up saying, "What can you do at my age?" without even trying. That one patch, that small attempt, might create a tomorrow where you can walk again. It's never too late to start now. Age is just a number. What's important is a heart that doesn't give up. You can learn new things in your 80s, and you can change in your 90s. I'm the proof of that. Starting today, practice just one thing. Start by applying one patch to your heel before going to sleep. You don't need grand plans. Start with small things consistently. And I hope you feel the changes in your body after a week. Even if you don't feel the effect, don't give up. The older our body is, the more time it takes to change. You need to try for at least a month to feel the real effect. In the next video, I'll tell you the secret of stair climbing that makes knee joints young. For those who were afraid of stairs, those who sighed just looking at stairs, this will be essential content. The method of making stairs your friend will really surprise you. What one thing will you change today? If you start right now, what kind of new life will you be living around this time next year?